Hi, my name is James Hutchinson, and today we'll be discussing social media profiles in relationship to communications. We'll be using my personal Facebook as an example in most of these cases, and as far as Facebook goes, its purpose to me is basically for entertainment purposes. I like to share the occasional informative article. Uh, I like to make witty comments on other people's statuses, and just generally just keep up with what everybody's doing in their lives. So it does qualify one of the principles of communications as it's purposeful. Another one of the principles of communications that qualifies for is choices. You have choices in communication over social media. You actually have more choices in social media than you do in real life because you have time to sit there and while you're typing it out, you can think about what you're saying. You can say the best possible thing, or you can just not say anything at all, which is sometimes the best choice. But you do have choices in social media. Another one of the key principles is content in relationships. I personally keep a very PG, clean Facebook, free of vulgarity or dirty jokes, stuff like that, because I know I have younger cousins and, you know, people that don't want to see that in their Facebook feed. And a lot of people don't abide by that, but I mean that's fine too. It's up to them. But that's the personal choice that I make. And another thing is the irreversibility of a Facebook profile or any social media profile. You know, you put something out there, and you may wake up the next morning and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I put this on Facebook," and delete it. But by then, people have seen it, and it's nothing to screen cap, especially with a phone. Like anything you put on social media, if somebody wants it to, be out there, it's very easy. It's two fingers on an iPhone, and it's captured. It's theirs, and they can show it to whoever they want to. And I mean that has a lot of bearing in your professional life, your personal life. And that's why it goes back to choices, which is one of the earlier principles. You should try and make some good ones. And another thing about my Facebook profile, it's a packages of signal. It's a package of signals, but I like it to be a package of positive signals. Like my Facebook updates, especially on my public profile, aren't about this terrible traffic and all these bad things that happen to me and my political system's right and yours is wrong. And no, I don't do all that. Like I like to have a very upbeat, Facebook profile. Or if I'm gonna rant about something, I'm gonna rant about something silly or ironic. Like I might rant about how showers should come equipped with government regulated heat so you don't burn yourself or get cold water whenever you get in the shower. Like it should be regulated. Something silly like that. I mean, even whenever the day that my father died every year or his birthday, like even whenever I tell that story, I'd usually bring up a funny story or a good time that I had with him. So I'm not dragging other people down. Which brings me to the influence of other people on my profile. Like I got my Facebook profile in 2009, so I don't really know Facebook as a like my feed not being full of anti-Obama stuff. Like my wife had a MySpace before, and I know there was a lot of anti-Bush stuff too, but like there's always been anti this, and then there's always anti-political systems, and there's a lot of hatred going on. Like I would say that the influence was reversed, like anti-influence maybe. Like I try to stay away from that. That and airing too much personal dirty laundry. Like I have a cousin, and according to her Facebook feed, she leaves her husband more days than she's with him, and she just puts that all out there in public. And like I say, stuff like that, I gauge how I post on social media, trying to be different than that, better than that. But like I say, to each their own. It is their profile, and that's the thing. Just like my voice is my voice and your voice is your voice, people's social media profiles are theirs, and they can govern them how they see fit. which brings me to the next topic of self-disclosure. You know, it's very dangerous, putting things out there on Facebook, or other social media websites. Stuff like your address, and I mean, that's easy to find anyway, but I mean, there's other things like that you just don't want to be putting out there. Like, you don't want to talk bad about your boss or another coworker or things like that. You don't want to or give too much information about, I'm going out of town, I'll be out of town away from my house. You're not saying that you're leaving your house unprotected, but in a way you are. So you have to really watch what you put on your social media profile, because there's no telling who's seeing it. And also, it's an easy way to end a lot of friendships and relationships, some of the things you post. And that's just over just basic political and religious differences. And that's why I try to keep my public profile as like distant from like personal, belief systems as possible. Like if I want to do, like, that's why a lot of the times, a lot of my activity happens in closed and private groups. If you don't know what closed and private groups are, they're groups you have to join and be approved by an administrator. And in a closed group, people can see you're in that group, but they can't see anything posted in that group. In a private group, they can't even see the group, much less who's in it. Like, you have to be asked by someone to go into the private group. And because of this, I mean, I've done a lot of social media communication since 2009, and a lot of my friends, like people that I consider really close friends, I've never met in real life, but we're in these groups together, and we share ideas. We have several shared interests, like writing and drawing, and other hobbies. But we're kind of protected from, that self-disclosure problem there, because we're all in that small, same group. It's just something you may want to think of if you've got a friend group that you like to, carry on with. But one of the final things that, it's one of the key principles, and it actually affected me not too long ago, is inevitability, irreversibility, and unrepeatability of, communication. More so the irreversibility of it, because I had a Facebook status where I talked about the dumpster offshore always smells like a ham sandwich. Just, me being silly. And I've noticed this from a lot of dumpsters. And I'm not talking about like a ham sandwich you just made and ate. I'm talking about the ham sandwich that you make with mayonnaise, mustard, ham, and you put it in a plastic bag, and you put it in your lunchbox. And then, a few hours later, you get the sandwich. Like, when you open that bag, there's a certain smell to it. But anyway, like, I noticed the smell. I don't know if y'all noticed the smell. But I made this post about the dumpster smell like a ham sandwich. And my bosses saw this because I made the choice that was a safe post. And so we're at a meeting, with some of our higher-ups there, and, my other people on my level. And my boss, of course, asked me, been sniffing any dumpsters lately? And yeah, I can't really recreate the blushing amount that I did. But yeah, communication, once it's said. So just keep that in mind, and have a good day, and thank you for listening.